Hey guys, welcome to our Fireside Chat. So, we're trying to make this a monthly thing now. And again, if you have topics you want us to touch base with, or you have comments, suggestions on what you want to hear next, you can email us at webinar@godaddy.com or slide us a DM in our Facebook Messenger. Don't forget to share this video to your newsfeed as well and be part of the GoDaddy network. Once again, I'm your host. My name is Romy, and I'm a proud GoDaddy guide. And we will be discussing important and relevant topics for today. So later, we'll take a look at how can business owners bring more customers to their business, and the most important thing of all is how to protect your business through online security, emails, and support. So, when GoDaddy facilitated its 2020 Global Entrepreneurship Survey, we've studied over 5,000 entrepreneurs and micro business owners across 10 countries, including Philippines, Canada, Australia, and many more. Our aim was to look at the effects of COVID-19 pandemic across the globe and on the world's smallest business owners. So, with imposed lockdowns, businesses were forced to close down and many workers just lost their jobs. However, the interesting part here is that based on our findings, we've also found out that one out of three Filipinos find a way to either augment their income or earn a living after losing their jobs, and most even switch to online platforms. 43% of Filipino respondents said that they are looking into creating a business website for their business. And the survey also highlights that most of the respondents said they've managed the technology needs of their business themselves. That's why for our next speaker, she's our social media and marketing lead for APAC. And she will be talking about how business owners can bring more customers to their business despite of this whole pandemic. So let me introduce Kaling.
Thank you, Romy, and thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Carling, and I'm the social media and content marketing lead for GoDaddy APAC. And this one also goes out especially to everyone who has tuned in for the past few months. Thank you so much for joining us. One of the most important things during this period of time is for us to really help business to find their footing online and to kind of adapt to a new way of running their businesses. As what Romy has shared earlier on, the pandemic, which has been with us for the past 1.5 years, has caused a lot of massive changes to the way people shop, to the way people do businesses. And in a way, a lot of businesses are finding it challenging to catch up with all these changes that's been happening around them. And I think at GoDaddy, our mission is to really help small businesses and creators to make a different future for themselves and basically shift their whole presence online. And this really goes out to any, one who's a creator, who is a business owner running a brick and mortar store, to people who are offering their services. One of the most interesting things that we see, especially in the APAC region, is how entrepreneurial everyone has been when it comes to, dealing with all these unexpected situations. We've seen live stream sellers, we've seen people who, start their businesses on social media platforms. We have seen businesses who have basically created an online presence in a rapid amount of time. And I think at GoDaddy, what we are very heartened to see is how willing businesses are when it comes to shifting their whole operations online, adopting a very different way of operations, and basically being able to generate new businesses and new incomes through a totally different channel that they might not actually be used to. And what we do see as a trend is that in the past 1.5 years, we've helped many businesses who might not even have an online presence to basically fully establish a presence online, and that's something that's very heartening for us to see. So I think in today's Fireside Chat, we really want to have a very casual conversation around some of the trends that we've seen and some very important aspects of building a business online, and how GoDaddy as a one-stop shop has all the solutions that you need to build your online presence and eventually be able to expand your business in the space that you might not have imagined you could have done in the past. So over to you again, Romy, and let's kickstart today's discussion.
Sure. So you were speaking about how do people bring customers to their business, right? So the first step that most of business owners would do is get a domain name and build their website. Okay, so now that they have a website, so what are other ways for them to bring customers to their business?
Sure, that's a really great question. And I think for a lot of businesses, that the idea of an online business starts from basically a web presence, right? And that can actually mean a lot of different things. So besides a domain, it could be a social media account. It could actually also even be an email where it says, like something, at yourbusiness.com, right? So there are a lot of different starting points for different businesses. But what's most important is once you've established that presence, you need to be discoverable. So, and that will involve things like ensuring that you are discoverable on Google search, you're also discoverable on social media platforms, and you can also be discoverable through different networks in the online space. It could be like, a listing, it could be basically getting to a network of sellers where you can actually, like kind of be able to advertise your services and goods. This is especially for people who are running services. So I would imagine that the starting point for everyone is different, but the most important thing to work on is to ensure that your business is discoverable through the channels that you believe will generate the most potential income for you.
Okay, so that was a good one. And you've mentioned earlier about SEO, right? So you've
Mm.
mentioned how it's an effective tool to bring customers in. So can you share like how do really search engines work and why is it important for a business?
Sure, and that's a really good question as well. And for a lot of people, search engine optimization in a lot of people's mind means like, okay, I need to be discoverable on search engines, right? Which is probably for most part of the world that will be Google. And in this case, why is it important is because a lot of times people discover new products and brands through a simple online search for something that might not actually involve your brand name. So for example, if I'm selling like, like pastries today, right? And someone's looking for maybe pastry delivery in my country, in a certain part of the world, the first thing that someone will do is actually go online to search for this thing. And eventually how people eventually find, like the search result is actually based on how Google ranks it. So if your website is ranked in the first few pages on, a Google search result page, right, it means that you are much more easily discoverable compared to everyone else. And but I need to caution small business owners on the importance of thinking of this as a long-term strategy, because you can't be ranking for business the next day when you start, on a certain day. So for example, you start doing some level of content marketing and search engine optimization on day one. Please don't expect that to happen, like in day two, because that will take a while. And that's the reason why it is important to look at search engine optimization as one part of your channel approaches in terms of running a business. So for example, if you have just established your website, you've established your social media presence with your business, it is important to look at a very multi-channel approach, because you have to start with a more than just one channel in order for you to be discoverable. And search engine optimization is just one of them, where you tap on content marketing, ensuring that you have the right keywords and ensuring that you have the right user experience on our website in order to generate the traffic. But this thing takes some time, and that's the reason why it should just form one part of your approach, but it shouldn't just be the it all and end all when it comes to starting your online business.
Okay, so that was a whole lot to take in, but to summarize it all, it's a long term commitment, right? It's not just a
Exactly.
one time thing. Okay,
Yeah.
that was really good to know. Can you share us like what's your top three tips to make sure that you will be on the top search results for popular search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo?
Sure. I think one of the most important aspect for any website to rank well on search engines is user experience. And that I know this is a very big term and encompasses a lot of things, but one key aspect of search engine optimization is actually site speed. So, and that's the reason why it's important to build your website on a reliable provider that allows you to optimize for site speed. Because if you have a complex website with very cumbersome plugins and attachment, it basically means that you slow down the whole loading speed, and thereafter it actually affects how you are being ranked, how your website is being ranked. Because if you are slow in terms of if your website is loading very slowly, it means that people are taking much more time to get access to your website, and this will eventually affect the overall user experience. So I would say that will actually be a very fundamental aspect of search engine optimization. The second thing is actually the in terms of the optimization user experience is actually ensuring that you are having the right content on your website. So what do I mean by content? Content for a lot of people might mean like blog articles, which actually isn't really the case, because content actually means all the aspects of your website. from the pages that you use, for example, using the right keywords to ensure that you're showing up the right products, to ensuring that you are capturing all your product descriptions and all the web page descriptions with the right keywords that you will rank for. So, for example, if you want to rank for cake deliveries in Philippines, right? It basically means that you need to have some level of such keywords across your website, but doing it such that it's very natural. Please don't spam it because Google is smart enough to detect that if you're spamming all these keywords. So that would, for me, that's actually the second aspect of it. And I would say the third aspect of it is actually navigation. So Google actually would be able to understand how users are actually navigating to your web page and how, because for a lot of websites, they are actually tracked via Google Analytics. So Google actually will be aware of how your website is actually navigated by different users. And if people are finding it hard to get information, if they drop off very frequently, this basically means that the website experience is not really optimized for users. And thereafter, all these things will have long-term impact on how your website is discoverable on search engines. And also, more importantly, think about it from a user's point of view. If your website is very hard to navigate, it means that you are not probably going to get the business that you want if people are having a hard time trying to find the information that they need. So, with all these things in mind, this is the reason why when you're going online, it's very important to have a very robust plan in place of how you want to establish that presence, which provider you want to go for when it comes to building that presence so that you already have kind of like half the battle won at the start. Because if you are going to find all these things as you go along the way, it basically means that you always have to backtrack and you'll redo things, which actually very, very cumbersome and troublesome. And this is actually something that can pose a challenge, especially to new business owners who might not be very familiar with how to tackle all these things.
Okay. So wow. You've mentioned about having like a relevant content. You know, nowadays we have a lot of bloggers and people who write stuff in the internet. But
Mm,
in today's digital age, so how can we leverage on our content,
mm.
or business owners' content to make it work harder for them?
Sure. Thank you for that question. And I think for me, when it comes to content, this is where it really forms one aspect of I would say content marketing and also a very integral part of search engine optimization. What happens with content is that basically all these content that you write, which is probably going to be relevant for your business, will help in getting your site ranked for specific keywords that appears in your article. And I think that's the reason why when I mentioned earlier on about the planning process, it is important to ensure that you understand which businesses you are which sector of business you're in, what you're going to be ranking for, and thereafter you will be starting to create content around that aspect of your marketing plan. And in this case, once you have that in place, this is where you can start to publish relevant content, get it to rank over time. Again, this is a long-term process. And if you can at this juncture, if you're starting to expand, right, this is where you can start reaching out to other publishers and other websites with great like rank authority on Google search engines to get them to kind of link, to your article, get the word out there, get other people to talk about you. A lot of times people tend to think that, oh, I'm just going to start publishing content, but they do start to neglect the aspect of having a kind of network that supports the work that you do, basically getting your word out there. And that's the reason why for companies who are starting out and they do have some level of local network when it comes to PR, when it comes to access to other publishers, it's important to actually work with them to get the word out there, get them to link to your article. And also when you write your own articles, do link to some other credible resources as well, so that you create this network effect where this actually gives your website a lot more authority instead of just you being in your isolated space. And that actually doesn't really help you when it comes to search engine optimization.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that to boost your SEO, you have to make friends as well. So there
Yes,
should be like
exactly.
link exchanges or something like that.
Mm.
All right. So that's an interesting fact. Thank you so much, Kaling, for sharing your insights. We've learned a lot. There are, I think, a few key points to keep in mind in terms of getting more customers for your business.
Thank you.
Speaking about getting, customers to their business, I've actually studied that 79% of consumers check their phones within 15 minutes of waking up. and 30% of those would check their emails from their bed. That's why for our next speaker, she will discuss the importance of having a professional email, and we will be taking a look at the importance of making sure that your business is secure through online security. That's why I'm really happy to present our next speaker, which is a proud GoDaddy guide herself, Jenny Lou. Take it away, Jenny.
Thank you, Romy. Hi, everyone. So, I'm actually excited to give you an idea on how you can get your website protected and at the same time have a professional email. Like what Kaling said, along with building your search engine ranking online, you would also want to make sure that everything seems professional, right? You want your customers to see that you are serious with your business. And one of that is making sure that you have a professional email. So why is that? For most businesses, I believe you use email for communicating regularly with your customers, right? With your clients or vendors. You wouldn't want them to be seeing you using a free email, let's say at gmail.com or at hotmail.com, because mainly you are building their brand. You are not building yours. So you wanted your brand, your company image to be seen by using a custom domain name. I believe it was shared earlier that when you have a domain name, you get to you get to be known online. You have your online presence, and along with that online presence, you also want to make sure that you are securing it. Nowadays, I think it's not just phishing that is the trend, but also malware, right? It doesn't discriminate. Many people, I think many business owners, they tend to think that I don't have any data to be stealed from my site, right? But I think that is the common connotation or wrong connotation that there's nothing to steal, because mainly your reputation is already there. You already built your website presence, so you want to make sure that you are protecting it. And there was actually a survey, I believe 33% of the respondents, let me just check the facts here, they actually doubt the trustworthiness and legitimacy of a seller when they use personal email address. And at the same time, along with those for professional email, there was also a survey made that 60% of cyber attacks are aimed at small businesses, right? So it doesn't mean that even if you are just starting your business, even if it's just small, then you are not going to take a look at making it professional or making sure that you are protected. So securing your site, it's just like having an insurance that even though there's nothing happening yet or nothing bad happened just yet, you want to make sure that you are secured, right? It's also the same, just like locking your doors at night. You don't do it because you expect something bad to happen, right? You do it because if something did happen, it would be devastating. So um if you spent already, like if you already spent a lot for your domain name, for your website, you wanted to make sure that the customer's data wouldn't be at risk as well. So that is why there are actually three security services that I want to focus on. So I'd like to share it with you. Main one is we want to make sure that you have SSL, or you want to make sure that your website has SSL, right? So what is that? I believe from our previous webinars, if you have tuned in, you will you are already aware that SSL, or security socket layer, it's actually what makes your customer feel secured. That when they go to your website, they see that HTTPS and it's not showing, it's actually showing connection secure instead of a connection not secure. So mainly me as a customer, I would want to enter my details on a connection that is secured rather than a not secured one. So aside from the SSL, you would also want to make sure that you have website security. So why do I need it? I already have SSL, right? You said that my customers would feel at ease that they can enter their data. So that's just one thing. You would want to have website security, because if your website gets infected by malware, or if your website gets hacked, gets attacked or infected, so most malware attacks, if you aren't aware, they're already automated, which means you're as much of target as anyone. And if you do get infected, it doesn't just disrupt your website, right? It can also ruin your reputation, especially if your customers have already entered their data in your website. So next thing, To that, like what I mentioned earlier, there are three, right? So anyone can guess what is the third one. If none yet, I'd be happy to share with you that aside from the malware scanning and monitoring services as baseline, you would also want to make sure that you have a website backup, right? So why? Every backup version, you wanted to make sure that there is a clean and safe one. So you already spent time, you already spent day and night to build your website. You already spent like a million of times updating your teams, making sure that your customers' data are secured and such. So you wouldn't want to lose that just by a single infection, right? Or by just being attacked by a malware. And that is where a built-in malware scan and monitoring service would come in. You would want to make sure that you can immediately restore the website to a malware-free state, or thereby mitigating it from any infection or risk to minimize the disruption to your business. So basically, those three is actually what would make sure that you are protected from the risk of the technology nowadays, making sure that you are not losing the image of your business, the one that you are trying to protect from day one when you started online. And of course, along with those professional email and security, one good thing about being with GoDaddy that I am proud of, like what Romy said, I'm a proud GoDaddy guide, is that you have support, right? Unlike having a free email, if you encounter any issues, or even with free websites, if you encountered any issues, then definitely you don't have any support, right? But with GoDaddy, you actually have 24/7 support through chat. And there are other ways as well that you can contact us, which Romy will share as well later on. So that's actually one of the things or key features that I would like to share in terms of having professional email and online security.
Thanks, Jenny. Okay, you know what? I think email is one of the things that most people take for granted because, hey, there are a lot of free platforms out there, right? So why should I pay for one? Like, isn't Gmail or Yahoo like working as they should? So, for those people who are still hesitant to pay for an email, what can you say about them? Like, what's the importance of paying for an email address rather than just getting a free one?
Agreed with that. I definitely agree in terms of, like what I said earlier, negative connotation. That why would I want to spend with, an email or a professional email if I already have a free one? So I guess the main question that I will have for those business owners is that do they use email communicate or when communicating to their customers or vendors, right? Because with emails, it's like you can already access it anywhere you go. So when someone actually send you an email and it's like, let me just say jennylou25 at gmail.com, or those lovely lady at gmail.com, etc., you wouldn't want your customers to be saying that you are not serious with your business, right? And it also somehow shows that you are not that tech savvy, or you are not really in the trend of making sure that everything goes smoothly for your business. Because like what I have also shared earlier, you would want your business or your company name to be known. So it's your brand that you want to build, not the brand of someone else. So by using those free email providers, then you're building their brand. You're actually helping them in terms of marketing as well. So if they're still hesitant, yeah, they can actually give us like a call or a chat with us, then definitely we'd be happy to guide them through the process of getting one.
Oh, Jenny, you just recently reminded us the awkward days of email
I
addresses.
know.
I
Yeah.
was just reminded of my email address. I'm not gonna mention it for
Yeah,
my
we all have our
reputation.
past.
I know.
Exactly. All the
Back
flowers123 at hotmail.coms,
Right.
right.
Right, yes.
So, aside from a communication tool, so I guess it also work with what Kaling was mentioning earlier about marketing, right? With
Definitely.
every email that you send, it's like you're promoting people to, hey, look at my website. Wow. So that's something that customers should consider, like having a professional email. And then you've mentioned earlier about online security. You've mentioned about two products, and it's SSL and website security. And I think this is one of the most common questions that we get. Like, okay, I have an SSL. Why do I need website security? So, can you
Right.
explain to us the main differences between those two products?
Absolutely. I guess I would use two terms for that. We can look at it as there's one security for the front end and there's one security for the back end. So when we're working with SSL or security software layers, right, it's actually for your customers. Well, you would want them to see that when they go to your website, they see that HTTPS. Because me personally, I don't want to enter any of my details or any of my information to a website that is showing not secure. So I doubt that anyone would want to do that, especially with your customers. Like, you will ask for their name, you will ask for their email address, or especially with credit card information, it's totally a no-no. I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to do that. It's the same for your customers. So when you're dealing with a business, or when you already have a business online, you would want your customers to see that you are serious with it, that when they go to your website, the connection is secure. So that is for your front end, right? Well, for the back end, how would you secure those customers' data that has already been entered to your website? Right? Or how would you make sure that all of the information that you have to your website, whether your images or what other personal info that you have already entered in your website, you would want that to you would want it to be secured. There are also instances where customers suddenly go to a website. I'm not sure if Kaling or Romy, you guys already experienced that, wherein if you go to a website, it suddenly get redirected to a red alert, like it's showing there's
Yes,
a malware. Yeah,
definitely seen
so
that before.
it's
Yeah.
really scary. Right? Like, what other information has been attacked? So your customers, you wouldn't want them to see that, oh, why did this business owner website get hacked, right? Isn't he serious about securing the website? Or is it doesn't he serious, or isn't he that serious about making sure that everything we enter, such as our data, is being secured? So that is actually for the back end side, that you wouldn't want malware attacks to be happening to your website. You would want to make sure that on a daily basis your website is being monitored for those attacks. It's just like with your local computer too, right? Even if you're not that using it that much, or when you just suddenly download a certain file, you get to be infected. So it's the same. That's why you have those protection at hand. And it's also with us, like what I've used earlier. It's just like insurance, making sure that you are secured even if nothing bad is happening yet. So those are actually what I will share with the business owners, especially for those starting ones. You would want to make sure that it's being built up smoothly. We wouldn't want to put the security the less or our least priority. It's actually the main priority that we have. Because when you already spent money to build your business online, your web presence online, then I believe that already shows you are serious in taking step on getting your business, really known by your customers. So making sure that it's secured is actually not just not just a compliance, but really a must for all business owners.
And I
Right.
wanted to just add in on this point as well, Jenny, because for me, what I do see as a trend is that because when businesses go online, right, this is where a lot of hackers, and I can tell you, hackers are actually very opportunistic. They will try and like tap on opportunities to, basically, scam, try and like,
Mhm.
dig out for more data and stuff like that. And I think especially in the last 2 years, where a lot of like um a lot of businesses are transiting online, this is where it becomes a very big opportunistic moment for hackers to say, hey, now I have more praise that I can actually, like prey on. And it sounds very tribalistic, but the fact is, this is human psychology. When you have more of a certain behavior happening, you will have people who will then start to, like capitalize on these opportunities, and more importantly, capitalize on the lack of certain things, and in this case, which is security, right, to actually, like cause harm. So as a business owner, it's really important for you to understand that having a complete presence involving a professional email and having the right online security for your website is actually really basic. hygiene, and it actually also helps with search engine ranking. So I was going to add on to the point where
Right.
Google actually will actually penalize websites, unsecured websites, and that's actually something that they emphasize heavily on, because this actually jeopardizes user experience and user security. And that's the reason why today we focus on that, because this is something that might seem a distant topic and something taken for granted, but as a business owner, it actually is a basic piece of information that you need to be aware of and actively get sorted out before you even decide to, transit online.
Right. And taking budget into consideration, I guess, for if you're a business owner and you're watching this, getting this online security and email tools, don't consider it as a cost. Consider this as an investment for your business, because these are the tools that will help your business grows, right? You don't want to put up a business out there and just lose it in a year or two. You want to protect it, right? Just like what Jenny mentioned, it's like guarding your house, because you can never pay for peace of mind. So wow, those are really interesting topics. Thank you so much, Jenny and Kaling, for sharing your insights.
Thank you for having us, Romy. And actually, I have a question for you, and probably also for Jenny as well, because both of you have been our dedicated guides, helping many of our GoDaddy customers in the past few years. And knowing that, this past 1.5 years has been a very challenging time for businesses, maybe if you can share with me some of your experience, share with not me actually, with our audiences, some of the experiences that you've had in helping customers transit online, some of the challenges that they have faced, and how did you guys help them to overcome some of these
Mhm.
challenges, and most importantly, how the GoDaddy solution, because for us, we are bringing a one-stop shop. It means that we need to have everything that customers need to help them transit online. So maybe just share some of your insights to this process as businesses are digitally transforming.
Ooh, okay. So that question really hits close to home. So I've been supporting a lot of customers from different demographics, like from different regions, for a couple of years now. And this is something that I've observed so far. So their first initial step is to get a domain name and to get their website up and running. And that's it. They would have this plateau and they would have no idea what to do next. And they would think that, okay, I already have what I need, but there are things that they would tend to forget to consider, like having a multi-channel for their business. So just like we've mentioned earlier, like most of our consumers, we use our phones rather than using our desktops and laptops, right? So we want to make sure we have multi-channels to promote our business. So not just with a website, not just with having a professional email, but making sure that we expose our business to different social media pages and email marketing too. Like, I understand the benefits of having a professional email, but if you're the type of business that would send out like a lot of promos, like a lot of newsletters, I don't think an email address is a right fit for that. So email marketing is, one of the things that they have to consider as well. They can also expose their business into we've mentioned social media pages. So I think those are the things that most of customers struggles. They think that after putting up a website, that's it, where your website is your online store and your online presence, but how do you really get people to visit your site? That's what I really love about GoDaddy, because our mission as a company and as a brand, we empower entrepreneurs and making opportunity more inclusive for all. That's why we've enabled a lot of tools, a lot of ideas to make sure that business owner can transition their presence online smoothly. And from building domain names, from building websites, we also have a lot of one-stop shop tools and solutions for startups. That's why I would always encourage my customers to chat with us, to give us a call, because there's no one tailor fit, or there's no one size fit solution to every customer. We want to make sure we know your needs, we know your motivations, and we know your goals, so we can talk through it. Like every customer, they would have different journeys, right? And they would have different needs. So I guess those are my experiences. Like most people would tend to like stop planning ahead, or would stop getting their business growth just because they have a website. But that's not the case. Technology is evolving. It's evolving like as if it's a racing car, right? We keep on developing new ideas. We keep on progressing. So I guess those are one of the experiences that I have to share. So if you're listening right now, my advice is don't settle, right? This is not the time to settle. This is the time to innovate. This is the time to progress, right? To build more ideas that are, yeah, probably risky, but at least you know you're taking a leap of faith and making sure that your business stays there and your business grows. So there you go. That's my answer, Colin.
Wow, thank you for sharing your experience, Jenny. Do you have anything else to add?
All right. So definitely I agree with that, Romy. And I really like how you said it, that there is, there is no one tailor fit needs or for this customers. Well, personally, during this pandemic, it's really been challenging, not just for our customers but also for GoDaddy, because we really would like to help all of our customers, and of course those new customers that we're trying to help out build their business presence online. So there are some services that we had to adjust just to make sure that it fits their budget. And at the same time, we are also trying to hear their feedback on how we can improve those products and services based on their demographic needs as well. Um, Mainly, what I actually like to share is that there are customers that really don't know what to ask, right? But they want to get started. They really want to start growing their business online. They already have the idea. They just don't know what questions to ask. They just don't know which first step should I really take. I know about domain names. I've already heard about domain names, about website, but I really don't know how this works. So as a GoDaddy guide, we actually encourage our customers to just contact us, and we'll be here to assist in making sure that we do all the consultation that is needed. Ask what they need, ask what is the business about, right? What actually do you wish to what do you wish to accomplish? So from there we can start like having those bullet points tailor fit to what services or product would really fit their needs. Because like what Romy shared as well earlier, there is really not the same pattern. There are different customers, right? We do have bloggers, we do have customers who will start an e-commerce, we do have photographers. So it's really different. And don't be afraid to ask questions when getting started, because nothing really starts that it's already perfect in the beginning. So just contact the GoDaddy guides. And what I can guarantee is that we will actually be here to help, give advices that you need in terms of how you can get to start to that success.
Thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Romy, for sharing the experience. I think one important thing that we gather from, Romy and Jenny's experience is the fact that it's just so important to get the first steps. Just start the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles, right, begins with a single step. And the thing is, while you hear a lot of things about marketing, security, emails, that sounds like a daunting journey to be on, with a lot of perhaps some at certain junctures jargons that might not make sense to you. But I believe at GoDaddy, our mission is to help everybody make a different future by getting like their online presence sorted out, right? So in this case, I always encourage everybody to just give our care agents a call, or just message us on Facebook if you have a question. There's really no such thing as a silly question, because everyone starts out with step one, and step one looks different for everybody. And I think for us, what we do as a brand is to ensure that this whole process is seamless and simplified, because all these things might sound complex, but if you have someone guiding you along the way, it's actually much easier than you think, and you can get your web presence sorted out in no time. And this actually then gives you all the tools and all the basically things that you need to then start amplifying your brand. And for a lot of service providers, especially, if you imagine today, if you are an accountant, or if you are a freelancer who just needs to get the word out there that you're providing these services, right? Just having this online presence sorted out already gives you a leeway to then start disseminating information about what do you offer as a service. And I think at GoDaddy, we've provided solutions for businesses of different sorts. It's not just e-commerce, but professional services. We provided like portfolio management. Sorry, not portfolio like constructions for creative professionals. So I think in these different aspects, right, whatever your business needs are, we'll definitely be able to find a solution that caters to your needs. So I highly encourage you to contact us. And also we've actually in our previous webinar sessions have hosted a lot of different kind of like how-to guides for e-stores, for a lot of our different product needs. So if you're still apprehensive, right, definitely go back and check out previous webinars to get a quick understanding of how all these products works. But again, if you're still confused, right, don't worry. Definitely give our GoDaddy Care guys a shout out, just a message, because they're on standby to help you and to help you really get started. Like what Romy mentions, everyone's journey is definitely different, and no one journey is going to start out the same way. So don't hesitate and definitely get in touch with us if you want to kickstart this whole process.
Right. And you know what? That's the reason why we are called GoDaddy Guides, because we're not just your technical support agents. We're not just your customer service representatives. We're like your guides. So we will always advocate for you. We will always advocate for your business. So wow, this was a very good side chat, Jenny and Kaling. I'm pretty sure our listeners or viewers learned a lot, a huge ton of things. And if you're listening right now and you're planning to do a business, you know what? This is the time to do it. Again, don't settle. This is the time to innovate. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jenny and Kaling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's it. Again, here in GoDaddy, we want to make sure that we provide all the tools for your business to grow. Again, our mission as a company is to empower entrepreneurs everywhere, making opportunity more inclusive for all, so that you will make a different future. Again, if you want to hear some topics, or if you have comments or suggestions, don't hesitate to email us at webinar@godaddy.com. Make sure to follow all of our social media pages, and you can slide us a DM in our Facebook Messenger. So this has been a very productive hour for everyone, and I hope you guys stay safe. Don't forget to click on the links after this video. See you guys later.